Important notice: the following content may be triggering. Viewer discretion is advised. All discussions are based on personal opinions and experiences. If you or someone you know needs help, please reach out to a local support organization. Important notice: the following content.
Hi, welcome everybody to Uncensored. My name is Amanda Johnson, and as you know, me and Tara Woodlee come on every Wednesday to talk to you guys about important topics that are in the news relating to DV. Right now, we are having a little bit of technical difficulties on Tara's end, so let's give her a little bit of patience as she joins us, because we are really excited today to join you guys and talk about the topic that we have at hand. As we are waiting for her to join us, we want to welcome you guys. And if you'd like to share with us in the comments where you are joining from, this Uncensored is going to be an important one where we are going to talk about something that was talked in the headlines. It is about Kristen Bell and her husband, Dax Shepard, and something that was recently talked about during what we know is October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we're going to touch upon that topic. So let's just go ahead and give Tara some time to get in, and we will get started here. So if we want to go ahead and just go ahead and tell me where everybody, I think Tara's with us. Hi, Tara.
Hi.
Oh, I think it is much better.
Is it?
Yes, I can hear you very clear, actually. So yes, we just started. I was welcoming everybody and trying to give them a little bit of info. I didn't go into the whole of your spiel, but I did welcome everybody and let them know what we'd be touching upon. So, and let them know we were having a little bit of technical difficulties.
I'm concerned I'm echoing. I'm sorry. I don't.
Oh no! It just started again. When you first came in, you sounded so clear, so clear.
Yes. Well, and maybe we're just hearing it. Can everybody? Yeah, I'm echoing.
Do you want me to go? Do you want to try a different way? And we could definitely give you a moment, Tara, if you want me to try a different link to get you in. If everybody.
Sure. If everybody just hold on for our technical difficulty. The link you sent me is taking me to
oh no! Sign in.
Yeah, the one that it throws you into when you've logged in multiple times.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. No, we're sorry, guys. We've been trying to get this handled, and we're having issues with the link.
Yes. The platform we use to stream is one of the Amazon platforms, and I think it's still affected.
Yes. Let me see here. So I went to your speaker link. So let me go ahead and check here what we got going on. Yeah, no, we appreciate you guys' patience. Usually we're ready to go with bells and whistles, and today it has not been in our favor. and we're trying to make sure that you guys can definitely hear poor Tara. So
it's been par for the week I've had. So sorry, guys.
We apologize. I don't know why it's doing it as a login. It's doing it the same. It's your speaker link, but it's sending it different. Let me see if it looks any different through email.
I'd keep talking, but you're just going to hear me echo.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna send it through email, Tara, just to see if that will do better, because it looks different through email than it does through text, which is odd to me.
Okay, yeah, I'll try that.
But let me click on it as well to see where it takes me before I'm like, hey, let's get you there. And then
Okay.
it's not right again. No, this should through email should be good.
Okay, I will be back.
So this should be the correct one. Okay, awesome. We appreciate you guys so much. Oh, okay, so I see that we have people joining from the UK. That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. From North Carolina. Let's see what else we got going. So yeah, welcome Pillar of Light. We always are so glad to see you. Elizabeth, thank you for joining us. And Gina, thank you for helping us there. And we always appreciate your support. So yeah, I am personally over in the PA area. Tara's in Texas. So thank you guys for sharing that with us. So basically right now, let's just give her some time because we definitely want you guys to be able to hear her. But yeah, so with what we're going to be talking about is basically about sensitivity of jokes when it comes to domestic violence. And that's kind of what this article was touching upon. So we'll just give Tara a couple minutes to come in and to be able to talk about our affiliates and some stuff we got going on with the organization. Usually Tara is the first face you see, not mine. But as always, when we have technical difficulties, we kind of got to roll with the punches and make sure that we aren't leaving you guys hanging too, because we definitely want to make sure that we're here for you guys every Wednesday, even when we do have these technical difficulties. So we do appreciate your patience very, very much. So hopefully, fingers crossed, when she comes back in, she will already have a good service going forth with this. So let's see here. Maybe actually, let me see here what we can go forth. So while we're waiting for her, I'm going to go ahead and actually go over our affiliates. So I'm going to take that off of Tara here for a minute. So while she's coming in, I can help her a little bit. So we are affiliated with Truth Finder. We want to take a quick moment to talk about something that is powerful in your journey and healing, and it's called Truth Finder. It's a simple tool that helps survivors and people uncover public records and background information about things that you may encounter in your life, whether it's reconnecting with someone from your past or just finding out if someone around you is trustworthy. And as survivors, we know that that's something that we can use. So here through the eyes of survivors, we are all about creating spaces and giving tools that are needed to reclaim the power. That's why we're excited to share the Tool Finder with you, and it's a tool to take control of your peace and security. To try it out, please visit our link that is going to be posted to the description of this podcast. And thank you for your support in supporting our mission and safety. And then we have Opus Clips. Opus Clips, we are thrilled to be partnered with Opus Clips. Opus Clips is an AI-driven platform that helps turn powerful podcasts like this into moment shorts. And this is how, from survivor stories to hard truths, Opus Clips helps amplify voices and awareness at every platform. So if you would want to turn your content and scrolling, stopping reels into shorts, try Opus Clips and our special affiliate links. That's in the description as well. And then we are also partnered with the Self-Defense Keychain Store. Through the Eyes of Survivors, this is a woman-owned business. A woman minority-owned business. It's committed to helping individuals with practical and discreet, stylish defense tools. By shopping through our affiliate link, you're not only investing in your own personal safety, you're also supporting our mission. And to amplify the voices and raise awareness about domestic violence, use our Break the Silence for 10% off code. So let me see here and just make sure if we have Tara come back in, if everything's going smoothly for her. And you guys can find those links in our description and also in the comments. So we really do appreciate your guys' support, and those are great affiliates to be associated with. So let's see here. And I'm trying to make sure we can get her in here and everything is set up. Okay, I do apologize, guys. Again, we usually are with bells and whistles waiting for you guys and have everything set to go. The technical difficulties sometimes does happen. There was some major shutdowns during the week with some websites, and it has affected some of our platforms. So we do apologize and appreciate your patience with us right now. So as we are waiting for Tara to come in, I'm just going to go a little bit more of what got going on this week with this podcast that we're going to be discussing. So this week, as I kind of talked about at the beginning, a celebrity anniversary post kind of set off the online by storm. Actress Kristen Bell shared a message quoting her husband, Dax Shepard, joking that he's proud he's never killed her. If this was a private joke, inside joke, most people wouldn't care. But it wasn't. It was shared publicly during Domestic Violence Month. Some fans defended it, saying it's just Dax Stark's humor. It's how they love. Others, especially survivors, said the joke was a little deftone and insensitive and even triggering. So tonight, we're here to cancel anyone. I'm sorry. So we're not here to cancel. I'm sorry. We're not here to cancel anyway. At first, I was like, that's not what we're trying to do. We're here to talk deeper and the difference and the intent and impact, especially when it comes to humor. I think I hear Tara coming in.
I don't know.
I hear you. I don't see you.
Am I echoing?
You are.
Yes. Okay.
We'll give you a minute there, Tara. I know it's probably taken.
I am so sorry, y'all.
It is. I was just discussing with them the beginning of what we have going on. We're the affiliates, so take your time getting in. I was just telling them that we are here to talk about something different between impact and intent of when humor crosses the passive trauma. So I was just trying to start it off, Tara. I know we had a little bit of a wonky start, so I just wanted to get it started. So once you came in, everything was good to go. That we weren't sitting here.
Well, you keep continuing. I'm not sure what to do. I'm going to try one other way to come in.
Okay.
But I have a feeling eating my sister's going to make me echo.
Okay. We can try again, and then we can figure.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so we'll give her some grace, guys, to get in and get out here and see what we can do. Hi, Crystal. Yeah, we're gonna see what she can do, and then if we have to figure out a different plan or go in a different route or do something different, we will. That's how we have to work it here. That's kind of what goes on with the virtual world and working remotely and podcasts and all that stuff. Sometimes it's out of our control. But we always want to make sure we're delivering you guys the best content and that you're able to hear and, see us, but most importantly, hear us because, so we definitely want to make sure that we give Tara time to get in. So I'm going to give her a little bit more time to try because we definitely have never had this much hard time with the audio. And especially with us trying to get in and out of the podcast. So let me see what we can do. And yes, Crystal, I will definitely be getting back to you as soon as I can, for sure. So with that being said in the opening and talking about how it is, Domestic Violence Month, right? And as survivors, there are certain things that should not be discussed or ever, joked about in the domestic violence world. So right now, what we are finding is that this post could either be taken both ways where, as it said, people find this offensive. Or some people are saying, hey, this was just dark humor. It was a joke. It was not meant to be offensive. Just kind of wrong timing for this post. But obviously they couldn't pick, um, obviously they didn't pick, their anniversary to symbolize this post, but they didn't do it at a time that was insensitive. So that's kind of where we're kind of starting our conversation, is the both sides of how survivors see this in certain ways. And both sides are important. I believe that we all have different opinions because we all heal differently and we all have different experiences with our abuse. So with kind of an engagement prompt, I'm going to give you guys right now, if you want to go ahead and add in the comments while we wait for Tara to come in. What do you guys think? Was this just bad timing? Was it just deaf tone, or do you just think, again, it was dark humor? And do you think this was something that, maybe could have been worded a little differently? Or maybe, again, this was something that is between them, their relationship on their social platforms. But again, then we can say they're celebrities. And when you're celebrities, you do have a big platform, right? To advocate and watch and do what you say, but they're also human. So let me know what you guys think as we wait for Tara to get in here and to discuss with us what's going on. Because I definitely want to see what you guys think as well. Because personally, I do see both sides. I see where it could be harmful to people that's personally lost someone from domestic violence. And I can also see where, it was being playful and maybe wasn't thought out in the way that it would be offensive to the domestic violence community. We're going to see while you guys go ahead, and again, go ahead and share your comments. It's definitely, I want to be able, we're doing this where we're able to have an open conversation with you guys to definitely see how, this would kind of sit with other survivors. Because again, I believe that words are important. We all believe that words are important. And this month is our Swear to Care campaign, which we are featuring about verbal abuse. And so we are highlighting, that words are important, even when we sometimes come across in jokes. So this is something that we definitely want to hear from you guys on. Okay, so as we wait for Tara to try to get back in, and I want to go ahead and just kind of go on with the humor and defense. Let's start with defense. Humor can be a coping mechanism, right? I mean, I definitely have a personality that I like to laugh. I like to have a sense of humor, especially when things get a little too, I want to say, silent or awkward. So I can see that being one of the things um, that we could see in this segment, right? In fact, studies show that trauma survivors often use humor to process pain. It's called gallows humors, um, which is pretty interesting, guys. The research is in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine and found that humors will use humor to show better emotional resilience long term. So basically, with that being said, um, we survivors know what it is to have a sense of humor. I don't think that's something that we don't have. I think it's a sensitive. Oh, there. Hi, Tara. So I think it's in the sensitivity of the sense of humor. When we do joke about certain topics of this topic of what's going on with this article, and again, when we say certain things such as harmful things that we could do to our spouses, even if it is a joke. So I kind of, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Tara? Is everything?
I can hear you, but I'm doing some troubleshooting in the background.
Okay.
Seeing if I can lift other stuff.
Okay, awesome. I'll keep going and just let you.
Okay.
All right. So, with that being said, it's one of those things where we say we laugh so we don't cry, right? And I know I say that all the time. I'm like, oh, you could see I'm trying not to cry and laugh in this bit. I'm trying to laugh and not cry at the same time in this picture. I've said that so many times in circumstances that I know you guys have probably felt that way too. Where, you know, we'll make jokes about our past, not because it was funny, but because it gives us our control back. And that's kind of the thing. We don't want to lessen the situation, right? I mean, some of the times we look back in our domestic violence relationship, we're like, wow, that was really chaotic. You know, I even sometimes laugh um, and go, I can't believe that I thought that moment was okay, or where was I, like, you know, and not lessening myself or downing myself or downing the situation. It was more of, when you get to a place of healing, sometimes you can look back and realize how chaotic it was, and that's where you're able to kind of gain that control. And I see Gina said that those types of comments to such large platforms can be very triggering to those who survived or know someone who has not survived domestic violence. And you're 100% correct, Gina. I think that was one thing that people were having such a hard time with was, and the comment, which I probably, you know, I would like to share with you guys. Let me see if I can bring up the direct comment here of what was said so that you guys can understand if you have not heard. So basically, it was a post of Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell, and I'm sorry guys, now my phone's not working right. And it was an anniversary post, and it said, "Happy 12th anniversary to the man who once said, 'I would never kill you.' A lot of men had killed their wives at a certain point, even though I've heavily incentivized to kill you, I never would." And again, as this is dark humor, as people have said. And then again, I don't think that, I mean, again, I don't know if that would sit right with someone, as you said, Gina, who lost someone as domestic violence, you know, a survivor who has almost lost their life, or someone who's grieving someone, or lost a mother, a daughter, anyone that was close to them. It could have been worded differently, I for sure. I think sometimes people don't understand that their inside jokes should stay inside jokes unless people understand your inside jokes. I mean, personally, I know in a marriage and relationships, we all have our weird jokes that we'll even do in public, sometimes in front of our friends or guests, and people kind of look at us like, what? That's not even funny. You're like, what? Why is that funny? And because that's something that you have with your partner, right? So I see that people are saying, well, they have a dark sense of humor. That's humor with them. Maybe being such public figures, as you said, Gina, with those platforms, maybe that should have stayed an inside joke for them and not been put on their platform. And again, I understand people go into the some people like to say, well, that is their social medias, but I do believe that when we are people that are shown, you know, online as big influencers, actresses, you know, singers, anyone that really has a big platform to make a difference, and is seen by a lot of people, you know, it does have some responsibility to understand that you're not just hitting a small, you know, um, a small percentage, you know, of people who, you know, will find that funny. And then there's also a percentage of people who won't find that funny. But it's a sensitivity in it, you know, of making sure that we're sensitive of what we're saying and how we're presenting it. Let me go ahead, guys, and let me check something on my end to make sure we can get Tara in on our settings if we're trying our best. And then once I get that checked, we will go ahead and continue to talk. But let me know what you guys think, like, in all honesty. Do you think that, you know, because they have such a big platform, that they are responsible to, like, stuff like that, you know, what's private in their relationships kept from the public if it's going to offend the public? Or do you think that they have the right to say stuff like that? ahead and check in some stuff for Tara on my end.
I'm still here. I'm still trying. Maybe we take the mid-roll break real quick
Yep.
and see if we can rectify it during the mid-roll.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a break. And thank you so much for who's been sticking with us this far.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors. We wanted to pause for a moment and let you know that Through the Eyes of Survivors has a shop now open. And this is a great way for you to not only help survivors of domestic violence, but also let everyone know that you will not be silent about this important cause. From t-shirts to bags to coffee mugs, we have so much to choose from. To grab your swag, head to our store at breakthesilencedv.org. That's store.breakthesilencedv.org. We can't say enough about how much we appreciate all that the community does to help support us and this organization. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode and continue to subscribe to future episodes. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So I don't think we're going to be able to rectify it without you closing out, Amanda, and you've already started the podcast. So I'm going to let you guys continue, and I'm going to let everybody have their discussion. So, we just with the lovely Amanda today. Sorry, guys.
No, we apologize, guys. I'm sorry. We are trying our best to see if we can. Let me try one more thing, Tara, before I move on. All right. If we can try one more thing. Okay. So, with that being said, we're going to continue here, guys. And I apologize for what we got going on here. I really wish that Tara could be on with us.
Am I echoing? Did that work?
Yeah, no, you sound much better.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I'm sorry.
Poor Amanda, you've been holding down the fort. I'm so glad to join the discussion, and the echo is gone. Yay!
We are so sorry. So just to catch you up, Tara, we were just talking about, we just were down in how, do we think with this whole thing with Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell, it's all about, are we seeing this as survivors? Like, are we offended? Or is this something that we think is dark humor and maybe should have been a better timing of a post?
Well, I understand humor for sure. I have a little bit of a dark sense of humor myself, to be honest. But there's a time and a place for everything. And I don't know how, because I saw this too, and I don't know how appropriate that was kind of to put out into the atmosphere. I mean, because it seemed like to me it was a very private, intimate moment that he kind of had with her, right? And yet, it really should have been something that just my personal opinion, that she just should have kind of kept to herself, knowing how her husband was meaning. And to put it out there in the public, we're thinking that was kind of cutesy. That's where I kind of had a problem with it.
Yeah, I have a dark sense of humor. I mean, I even will joke about things that even as I'm like, oh, like a domestic survivor, Um, but I never find certain things as killing and then
Right.
using it in a term towards my husband.
Right.
Like many people want it like that. As I said before, like when we were having technical difficulties, I think sometimes even like we have inside jokes with our spouses or partners, and we'll say it in front of people, and people be like, "What?" And you'll be like, "Oh, that's an inside joke, right?" Or like, "Oh, we only understand." That should have been where that stayed.
Right.
I don't think that was something she needed to tell the world. I mean, they have children too, and I just
Well, in the worst possible timing, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and you want to put this out like, oh, here's a funny thing that happened between me and my husband today. He
right,
said this, and from someone who's had a family member, we've experienced that kind of loss and death, especially people who have recently experienced it. That can be so traumatizing and triggering.
yes,
Um, that
yeah.
that kind of joke just is definitely not going to play well with certain people. It's not funny on that level.
Well, and it was their anniversary post, so that was the way they were highlighting their relationship, and I think that's was the other thing people were like, domestic violence relation awareness month. Like, and listen, they do have a quirky relationship. I followed them for years. I've actually very much liked them as a couple. I mean, that's why at first I was kind of a little confused because I think they are very, imperfect. They're very open. Like she even had a conversation about, and it was like actually a very healthy conversation, how she spoke about the first time that her and her husband got in an argument. She started yelling at him, and he told her he was not going to accept that and that he was going to walk away. Like I remember, I don't know if you remember like seeing that, but I did. And I was like, wow. So, I mean, I don't fulfill that this is, again, this was dark humor that should have been played out maybe a little bit more private. That they just didn't think the sensitivity of it.
Right. And let's flip the script. Like I said, when I read it, when I saw it, and I don't know how the audience felt about it, but definitely let us know. The first thing it triggered in me was, ooh, how many holidays or anniversaries did we have that abusive partner said something similar and it was
Yeah.
intentional?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the first thing that popped into my head was, ooh, is that relationship really the loving relationship that we all thought it was? Because it's a little makes you take back and pause and go, okay, I don't know now, right? Because it throws up an inflection of those who have been victims, those who have experienced. We've had some things very similar, even very identical, and it was meant. And it was meant to represent a threat. And it was meant to cause fear. And it was meant to provoke a reaction in which they could turn around and gaslight and said, oh, it was a joke.
Well,
And that is the where you got to have
the
some
sensitivity.
sensitivity. Mm-hmm.
Well, and here's the thing too, like, again, dark humor joke, I get it. Okay, like I do, but you're still, but we're highlighting that your husband looks like he doesn't want to kill you, and that's the branded thing here. Like, well, I could, but a lot of other men want to. That should never even be a normal. That's not even a norm for
Mm-hmm.
you to even be like, I mean, that's where a slippery slope even happens for domestic violence, where it's like, well, he yells at me, but he doesn't hit me. He controls my finances, but he doesn't. So when we even make those jokes, like saying, well, that's not a flex. I don't like. I never even had a conversation with my husband that talked about like my demise and a happiness behind it, or saying, well, most men would, like, that's a weird conversation to me. But again, dark humor.
Yeah, that was very weird, wasn't
That was
it?
a very, like,
When I read it, I was like, that's a little strange. And like I said, and I have a pretty dark sense of humor sometimes.
and I don't know who, and I thought to myself too, I was like, most men who want to do that to their wives are psychopaths. So to me, it was very hard. It was made very casual. It was not. So even me trying to go back as we were studying this article and trying to look at both sides, because that's what we're trying to do here, I was struggling because I was like, I want to find humor in this to somehow say I can understand both sides, and I was not. I wasn't immediately enraged and offended, but I was not laughing either. It was kind of those kind of where, like, I was like, what was the point of this? This is not funny. So yes, Gina, the famous narc words, I was only joking. My personal opinion, if you have a healthy relationship, you would never say things to someone you love. Yeah. I'm sorry. I feel like when someone says I was just joking immediately after you told them that you are offended, that's kind of like a cover up. That's an immediate band-aid they put on for you.
It's immediate gaslighting. It's classic.
Yes. I was just kidding. Why do you get so offended? As someone who has lost their life to DV, I'm so sorry, Hannah. I make dark humor jokes, but nothing like that one. Its inside jokes should be shared as a public figure, or at very least, she could have had to put a trigger warning. You're right, Hannah. I think that they need to be a little bit more sensitive. Yes, and it is ghastly. Yeah, I mean, and I do. I make jokes. I know Tara. We joke. Like I tell my husband, I'm gonna whack you if you don't stop, like, being playful, like, right, like those little things. Not like, and I would never hit my husband. I would never hurt anybody, but like, like SWAT. We all make, but
well, it's an echoed threat. Even within a joke, it's an echoed threat. Why would you joke with a threat? Right. I know there's times offhandedly somebody will say, "Oh, I could," because Facebook's going to censor us, you. But yeah,
but to me, okay, let's say, like, we have a big reaction, like, oh, I'm gonna keep, hurt that person. They just spilled something, like, like those big funny reactions, like, you just poured water on me as a joke. Oh, I'm gonna keep, like, those big. But okay, but that wasn't even what they were saying. It was saying most men, end their wife's life, but you're lucky. That's weird.
That went above and beyond. Yeah,
that was weird.
That was weird. Very weird. Well, it was more than weird. I wouldn't even call it weird.
It's not even normal. Like, it would be normal. Like most men, have midlife crises. Like something more, but like intentionally, like. And she's the mother of your children too. Like, she's just not your wife. She's the mother of your children.
Well, it just didn't sound like love to me, especially for your anniversary. I found it very difficult to. I wouldn't have taken that as a symbol of love on my anniversary, and I sure wouldn't have posted it.
So. And the picture that went with it was odd too. Like, it was just a very odd post to me. It's a very odd post, but.
Well, it matter, especially when you're a public figure. Millions of people follow them. So their words are amplified more to the public and reach more people. And what does it say?
Right. And I feel that when they do, and they have the option to have private accounts. They have options as celebrities to keep certain things private for themselves. They do. What they share on their social media accounts is 90% of the time they have, like, a social media team. They have people helping them. They have, it's just not them sitting on their phones at night like me and you do and upload for our significant loved ones or our children. They are approving these things to be out there, and their team knows too. So there's a lot of people also, and I just feel that again, because of the fact that not only what was said, Tara, but it was a happy 12-year anniversary post of, it wasn't just like, oh, this is what Dax said the other day, LOL. They were highlighting the relationship off of this, and then it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and you're just like, oh, this was really bad timing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, so, people say things all the time that they don't mean. There's lots of times people can say, I meant no harm. I didn't mean to do all this harm. But you cannot mean it and still closet. And so, as public figures, there's an added responsibility. They have to have that sensitivity and awareness. And part of that, with Break the Silence, we've always been proud of the fact that these kind of open conversations need to happen, because it doesn't teach people the responsibility or that certain things should have a stigma attached to it. And that the best thing, for when things like this is to have an open dialect and a conversation, because people's minds are not going to change if you don't say something about it. So hopefully they will see and hear some voices on this that will make them think for the next time.
Well, and I agree, because I fulfill that, again, when you have such a big platform and you're reaching so many people, you might not think, as Sarah said, that it's going to change the dynamic. It does. And again, it's confusing to people too when we make jokes about that. When we're trying to advocate for people. And again, it's not fair to a mother. And, Tara can understand this, scrolling through Facebook and missing her baby because of something similar of what that he was talking about and joking about took their child. And it can just be a bad day, a bad time, and that sent that person into a spiral that they couldn't get out of for a week. Words matter. And as I was saying, Tara, too, like, it's our Swear to Care campaign this month for Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yeah.
And verbal abuse is a huge thing. And this isn't a verbal abuse here, but these are words. These are words, right? So words speak life. And when you're going on and doing that, it kind of, again, takes what we're trying to advocate for and lessening the cause and the power behind what that is. It's not a joke. It's just not. Again, and the silver lining should not be, ladies and gentlemen, that if someone doesn't murder you or take your life to have a great marriage or a great relationship, there's so much more there and so much more you should be able to say, whether it's dark humor or not. And I get it. Yeah, I have dark humor. There's jokes that me and my husband have that people probably think we were insane for, but they're not harmful to each other either. They're not harmful to each other. Now Tara's dogs are like,
I don't know where he is. That was my cat. Sorry, guys.
Oh, cat. Okay, I was like,
I don't know what he's upset about. But
he's not happy about it either. He just he wants respect too.
No, it's part of what was so concerning. I mean, definitely was, there's certain that just, it wasn't, for me, reading it from a family member standpoint, the fact that he was like, you've given me plenty of reasons to do this, that really was the chord that struck me. Because, Josh used to say those kinds of things to my daughter.
Right.
You've given me plenty of reason to smack you and do this and do that. You gave me reason when you went ahead and took that baby with you because you're pregnant, and you gave me reason, and I have plenty of reason. And
it is. It's
that wording specifically, when survivors and survivors, the victims' families read something like that, it hurts. Other
Oh,
people, it may help them laugh, and both can be true. Both can be true, but it can be very painful.
absolutely. I mean, I know that's something that is told a lot. It was one of my abuse, and I really still struggle with it. Is if someone says, "You made me do this," you made me do this. The one thing that I've always tried to teach my children is that we are responsible for our reactions to everything that happens to us, regardless if it's a good or bad reaction that lands on us. And again, I get it that if you haven't, we always say this is a club that we don't want people to join. So if you have never been with someone who's been through domestic violence or had domestic in your life, this might be something that you're not very sensitive to, not because you're a bad person, just because you just didn't understand. And I think that's what we're trying to do here is to get the people to understand that this is something that really, you got to understand when you're putting stuff out in the public that is so broad with wording. You got to look around a little more than just what's the humor behind it.
Right.
And Hannah, let me pull that up. Ultimately, people have control over their own action. If someone says you made me, they have issues with taking accountability for their own actions. Absolutely. Absolutely, Hannah, I agree. And the fact that, again, Tara, what you said, there was many, there's never a reason for harm. So the fact that he can even say there's things that even remotely I can think about to that's concern. I'm sorry that would bother me, even as a joke.
Right.
Even as a mother, if I was standing, I have 2 teenage daughters. If one of their boyfriends made a joke like that, I would have been like, "That's not even funny. Please leave my house." Like I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
that's
thought.
concerning.
I thought about that too.
Um,
If my own daughter came to me and said her husband had said that, I would have been concerned. I wouldn't have thought that is cute
yeah,
or a joke.
no.
Yeah.
Anytime, no. Even if someone's like, I had to do this to restrain myself because I really wanted to hurt you. That's just not. No, I think that's where we kind of, that's a red flag. And I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but those words were really not a. Still though, Tara, I want to. Like, I would be like, what moments? If I was the wife, I'd be like, what moments? What moments did you want me, like, off this
Yeah,
earth?
let's go there. Let's go there. Wouldn't that be the natural reaction for
Yeah.
most wives? The natural reaction would have been, "What moments are you talking about? I never want to do those moments again."
Right.
And that's why it's so triggering, because it can take you as a victim back into those moments of, oh my goodness, look at all those moments where he said, the things I did,
And
the
then you
way
go back.
I made him react, and I should be grateful. That's a big one at the end of that. You should be grateful.
Your life being not taken should ever be something that you should be grateful
You
for
should
with
have
your
gratitude
husband.
to me for that one.
You should be
Happy
happy because,
anniversary.
well, and the fact that he was like a lot there, the fact that they made it like there was a general population of men that do this, right?
Yes. And if I wasn't a better person, you would drive me to that. That's what he said. So I hope it was dark humor, but in a way it just sounds so very narcissistic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of stuff people are writing into us on the Narc Diaries about, that I'm reading over in TikTok, which, if, by the way, I'll do a shameless plug real quick. If you haven't seen our Narc Diaries over on TikTok, join TikTok. We're at BTS80V7, because this is that is the kind of quotes I end up reading over there that other people are experiencing from their narcissist. That kind of stuff daily. And it amazes me that so many people talk like that and they just feel like it's okay.
The stuff my ex would say, like sometimes when I think about like what they would say, and when you're in that abuse, you take breadcrumbs, you take anything you can get from them, any kind of niceness. And I remember like this man was heavily cheating on me, but he's like, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't come home to you at night. And I'm like, okay, like, that's the stuff. That's the stuff that they will get you. Like, so basically what he's telling me is, hey, during the day, I'm going to pick all these different kind of women lovers, whatever, but you're the main one. And, and your brain's just like, and that's not enough. But that's kind of, with that comment too, I'm sorry, but if my husband said that to me, I would be really questioning my safety in my marriage, because I'd be like, where were you? Where were these many times in 12 years that I'm the mother of your children? And, that would, I would be like, aha, that's such a flex. And I don't know. It just was weird.
It was very weird. It definitely provides an interesting conversation to have, because with it being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I'm sure you said you talked to everybody about that. I mean, that's the whole, what we did our October campaign over is verbal abuse and how those words matter.
Yeah.
So many of us experience the physical and we've experienced financial and stuff, but for me personally, just having to speak for me and my own truth, the verbal was the worst. Because bruises could heal. I can walk away. I'm a better person. And every once in a while, that will pop back up into my head. And I've learned how to cope and deal with those moments. But the moments when the voice starts playing back in my head, those words and what they meant and how they tore me down and degraded me and affected me and my own self-worth, that I still cope with every day.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem that we want to make people aware of, that daily having to reclaim yourself because of how much words do matter.
Absolutely.
And you can't take them back once they come out of your mouth. So it's worth thinking about. It's worth taking the time to really make some hard decisions before you put something out there in the public for everybody to see.
I agree. I think, as Tara said, I know 100% as a survivor myself, the hardest was the verbal and the mental and financial. Those are the financial and the verbal is something that, as Tara says, you have to wake up every day and center yourself. It's not like, oh, this is a good week, I'm going to glide like butter. It is every day recentering yourself. It's like 50 First States, like, where every day you had to wake up and kind of remind yourself and like it's, so we don't need the extra, in our face kind of, reminders of how bad it is and how insensitive sometimes.
Well, they were living rent-free space in here. I ain't got time for that. Pay your rent.
Right.
Go.
Right. They weren't paying rent then, and we're not going to pay rent now. So I mean, I think that it, again, like, people will be like, well, people have the right to freedom of speech. Absolutely. People have the right to, absolutely. But I feel, even as us and me and Tara, when we come on here, our responsibility is to present ourselves so that we are not going to offend or trigger anybody that is coming across our platform or coming across our podcast. So I feel that when we are bigger platform figures like Kristen Bell and Beck Shepherd, who, man, I can remember them since I was teenagers, right? So they've been around for a moment because I'm not that young anymore. They have a huge following.
Yeah.
They have a lot of supporters, and they have daughters, most importantly. They have daughters. He is a father, and he's a proud father. And I've seen that. And he loves his children. You want your daughter, to see not her husband. Here's the thing, her future husband, her future boyfriend sees the way that you're reacting in your relationship. So, you want to lead by example.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, and someone who's severely narcissistic or sociopathic or any of that can take moments like that and twist them and use that against, and I hope that never happens to his daughters.
Yeah. No.
Because that's the kind of thing they come back and go, well, see, even your dad.
Exactly. And being a big public figure, that attracts a lot.
Mm-hmm.
More static on your children than you want.
Absolutely.
So I fulfill that, not only are we paving the way for, just people right now, you're paving the way for the future and your children.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, we've had some good interaction in here, and I am so sorry I missed the first half of it, but we got it under control.
We did. We finally got in here. We had a great conversation. We worked through technical difficulties. Isn't always our fault. We just got to go with it, right?
Yeah, it makes life interesting, gotta say.
It does, guys. It definitely gives us a pep in our step.
Well, in closing, here's the truth: survivors are allowed to laugh. We're laughing right now, and we're allowed to have dark humor, and even to use it as to reclaim parts of our own story that once broke us, right? But humor should never erase empathy. Intent may start as a joke, but the impact finishes off with the real intent as far as the public's perception. So next time you post or laugh or share, or just pause and ask yourselves who might see this and who it might hurt, who it might impact, because each of us have our own stories that we are walking through. And this October, during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we're asking you to act. Your donation here at Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence help fund our survivor retreats, crisis calls, programs that fill the gaps that humor and hashtags can't fix. So, if you're on Facebook, we can receive stars. Feel free to donate to us through stars. We also have a link that we're going to put in there. Please feel free to donate. We are a 501c3 charity nationwide. Our programs do help survivors every day, including our support line, which has a huge impact. And every dollar helps us reach those survivors in those moments when it can matter most, when they need someone to be a listening ear. So please think about this October donating to the organization, because this is just a critical time for us, and we understand that so many people out there, so many survivors are having critical moments too. If you can't share a donation, at least share this podcast, share other things from our platforms, because that can help a lot too. And don't forget, Survivor to Survivor drops every Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, answering real questions from survivors just like you. And if you have a question you would like to submit, you can do that at podcast@breakthesilenceev.org. And also, again, catch those Narc Diaries on TikTok. The new one will be tonight. They air every Wednesday and Sunday night at BTSADV7, where you will hear more of those type of comments, manipulations, and we discuss that over there on TikTok. That's unique to that platform, so you're not going to see that in any of our other platforms on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. So be sure you check that out. We're hoping to reach 1,000 followers over there so we can have some live discussion panels similar to this over in TikTok, but even more so. So thank you for being a part of the Break the Silence family this October. Definitely check out the store like you saw in the mid-roll. We do have some great merchandise over there. And thank you for joining us tonight on Uncensored, where the hard truths meet open hearts, right? So stay aware, stay compassionate, but most of all, stay empowered. Thank y'all. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors. My name is Tara Woodlee, and I am the president of Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence, an organization that gives survivors and their families, and the families that have lost loved ones to domestic violence, access to a community that understands the journey that they're facing. We hope this episode impacts you, and hopefully you want to learn more about the topic. If it is helping you in some way, let us know in the comments below. We love your feedback. Also, make sure to click the subscribe button below and the bell right next to it so that you can get notified the next time an episode premieres. We hope you will see us in the next episode, and thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode